Welcome everybody to our third official annual meeting, virtual annual meeting 2021. And today we're going to go into a deeper dive into our programs and focus on what we did in 2020, as well as what we're planning for 2021. And today, Brandon who is our healthy foods coordinator and marketing guru at Lost River. He's going to present today on our programs. So I'll let him go forward with that.
All right, I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, can everybody see that? So my name is Brandon. As Katarina said, I'm the Healthy Initiatives Coordinator, and I do some marketing for the store. And I've been a part of designing what we're now calling our Lost River Local Initiative. Last year, we did this project. It was the Orange County Farm to Health Initiative, but we've since rebranded that to Lost River Local. And it's basically, as the name says, we are creating local access to healthy, locally grown foods. So we felt that was a good brand for it, and we're looking to expand and grow that as we go. So this began really with looking at our mission. When we began having these conversations, hold on one second. In early 2020, we were looking at our mission statement as a store, promoting community well-being, economic prosperity, and self-reliance in Orange County, Indiana. Obviously, our thing is food. So we wanted to look at, okay, how do we do this through our local food system? How do we begin supporting our growers, our consumers, educating growers and consumers, providing new channels for the growers to sell and distribute their product. So that is what Lost River Local really is. It's the opportunity for us to fulfill this mission and provide these services to the community. So we're connecting and enhancing our community's local food system first and foremost through the aggregation of locally grown food, creating new distribution channels, which you'll learn more about, new opportunities to sell locally grown food in Orange County and even in surrounding counties, and also educating our customers on how to use locally grown food, because there's many things grown locally that people don't even know how to use in their kitchen, which is okay. We're not always taught. And how to make healthy food choices on a budget. So when they're shopping, they can make those good choices. So the project really began with community partnerships. It is a community-wide initiative. It's not something we're just trying to keep within a bubble. We want this to reach everyone in our local area and beyond. We envision this being a regional project potentially long-term, but for now we're really trying to refine things in Orange County. But that begins with building strong community relationships and having a vision and sharing it with others in the community. So that's what Lost River Market started doing. We started talking with IU Center for Rural Engagement. That was where a lot of initial conversations started coming out, and then started talking to like the Orange County Community Foundation, Southern Indiana Community Healthcare, First Presbyterian Church of Paoli, which I have to give a shout out to them because they've just done a wonderful job supporting the store for a long time and making their space accessible. Throop Elementary, Orange County Health Coalition, Purdue Extension, and the Orange County Community Garden, which you could find this past year their produce on our shelves, grown by Curtis. Thank you, Curtis. But it really it's a team, it's not something that just Lost River Market is doing. It's a bunch of people coming on board and saying, this is what we want in Paoli and Orange County. How do we get there? How do we work together and bring all of our different strengths together to create something better than any one of us could do alone. So it really began after we, had these conversations, got an idea of what we wanted to create and a general concept. We started thinking about aggregating local food, and obviously that begins with our local farmers. So in February of 2020, I believe it was, Pat hosted these farmer meetings where he rallied the farmers on 3 separate occasions to discuss these new projects we were going to have, the demand the store would require to fulfill these projects. That included like our CSA, new nutrition prescription boxes, meal kit style things like that. And so we were, it's shooting in the dark a little bit. We did have numbers from the 2019 CSA, but a lot of it was things we were just projecting into the future. He brought on a lot of Amish growers, a few English growers. They have been very consistent. And man, I will say, just working over 2020, I did not realize we live in an oasis of local produce. I mean, whatever we needed, if we told them, they would grow it. And I felt like, we could even expand that capacity, honestly. Like, our growers are just amazing around here. But so once we had that system set up, they knew what we needed. Throughout the summer, Pat and Bob would do weekly produce pickups on Wednesdays. They would let our growers know roughly what we would need the next week so that they'd be ready. That prevented growers from having to bring stuff into the market. We would actually go to the farms and pick that up. And I believe Pat, so it says here we had 5 core local growers, and then we would supplement with up to 30 growers throughout the season, depending on what we were looking for. And then that doesn't even count like our maple syrup producers, honey producers, things like that in the community. These are just vegetable farmers. So it's pretty amazing for such a small town and rural area. And then I think you guys have seen this number, but we did end the year in 2020 spending $17,000 with local growers, vegetable farmers, compared to $4,000 in 2019. So a huge increase there. We hope to continue that growth in 2021. So the next step was thinking, we gave our farmers the projections, and it's like, okay, well, now how do we support them in meeting those projections? And so Pat began to work with them on different techniques they could use to build capacity. Another aspect of it was food safety training. We wanted to make sure all of our growers were not just providing us with a product, but a high quality product that was safe for our consumers. So there was a special training manual that was put together through Purdue Extension in partnership with Abby. And it's a food safe training manual for our Amish growers, and it's specific to their needs, which is wonderful because nothing like that existed before. They were, asked to fit within the current guidelines previously, but we're farming in a much different way. So that training manual is going to be a huge asset moving into the future. We were also able to receive funding for free water testing for all our growers to ensure safe water usage in their production. And I skipped over that, but I believe Pat did 10 individual consultations with growers in well, that says 2021, so it must have been fewer in 2020. I'm not sure, but he did do some one-on-one consultations specifically with our core growers to just help them develop strategies, figure out what they need. And it wasn't always growing needs. It was, hey, we need rubber bands, we need baggies to bag this stuff up in. And so it was other things like that, storage things beyond growing. So distribution. So we've got our growers on board. We have our the ideas of what our revenue streams are going to be. So now we're like laying out some of the foundations for these revenue streams and forms of distribution. Those included in-store produce sales, we always prioritize local produce when it's in season on our store shelves. Lost River CSA, the nutrition prescription program, which was a food meal kit with instructions. So it included a recipe. It actually included a online cooking video that was step by step through the recipe, and it included nutrition education videos. Community food box was very similar to nutrition prescription, same format. Lost River Markets, let's see. Oh, I got it on there twice. So those both are the Lost River Market food box programs. The Orange County Farm to Table dinners, we did two of them last year, one in Orleans and one at Pat Hall's place, using lots of local produce in those. And then Pat has done an excellent job starting to make connections with some local restaurants. And so we will go out and get this local produce for restaurants, making it easier for them to start incorporating local produce into their operation. And Speakeasy Pizza has been a very consistent customer of that. And so you'll find at one point, I don't know what they're using right now, but at one point they were using local basil, local arugula, some greens. But as we move into farm season here, it'll expand. So the Lost River CSA, this is probably our most successful program up to this point. I did a little definition here for anyone who doesn't know what a CSA is. It's a program whereby people buy shares of a farm's harvest in advance and then receive a weekly portion of the crops as they're harvested. Lost River is playing the role of aggregator, middleman, so we can access produce from multiple farmers, making this an easy distribution channel for these farmers. They don't have to go out and find the customers. We show up their farm, buy what they got. They don't have to handle the marketing, the organization, the logistics of the program, while providing crop diversification and security for our customers. And that's the value of having multiple growers on board. One guy doesn't or has a crop failure with carrots, we can go to another farm and look for those types of things. So it allows us to offer a much wider variety of produce throughout the season. In 2019, we had 15 participants in the program, and in 2020, we had 36 participants, and we were very excited about those numbers. We're hoping to continue that growth as well into 2021. And in 2020, the CSA generated about $7,500 in revenue for local growers and producers. So the nutrition prescription program was a program we did in partnership with Southern Indiana Community Healthcare, IU Center for Rural Engagement, and then the Center for Sustainability at IU. And basically the way this one worked was participants were referred into this program from the clinic. And it initially started as, we just want to do a basic nutrition prescription. People get like a bag of produce every week and we'll see if that, helps them eat healthier. Well, it developed into a more detailed research project with Dr. Julia Valiant at the Sustainability Center. And so what we did was people referred into the program. They were then divided into two groups. We had a control group where, they had a food box group. So where they got the full extent of the education, eat for 12 weeks. They got a weekly food box meal kit. And then we had the food choice group, and they received a $60 Lost River Market gift card and could go to the store and buy whatever they want. So they could choose how they spent that and whether they had the choice to make healthier choices or not. So we're testing these two groups to see if the intervention group, the food box group, really had an effect on people's health. There were 55 participants total in that, and they were all given a pre and post biometric test and survey, so we could test their biometrics. A1C was a critical factor in that, in terms of them being referred into the program, and whether their A1C, I believe, dropped. I'll be honest, I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know all the ins and outs of what they were looking at, but A1C, BMI type things, overall weight, but then also their habits. So within the survey, we were looking at, are they consuming more water, from the beginning to the end? Are they incorporating more vegetables into their diets? And we had great results from that. People were very enthusiastic about the program. We do. Julia has the specifics data on that. If anybody is interested in it, we could get that for you. But we did see positive results from that program. Another program that we began in October of 2020 was our Artisan Chefs Box. And this was in response to our reduced deli numbers from COVID. People were over buying prepared foods, and people were buying groceries, stocking up at home. So we came out with this Artisan Chefs Box program. And every Friday for 10 weeks in the fall and winter, members could pick up a weekly box of house-made soups prepared by the deli, fresh artisan bread made by local baker Andy Gerber, and preserves and spreads made by Anna Huddleston, Allison Vogel, and Katerina. And then, so we had 18 participants in both the fall and winter programs. So we also did a winter program in 2021. And they both had 18 participants, which we were really happy about. And I think that is going to be the capacity of that program moving forward. This created additional sales for local artisan producers. We spent about, for just the 20, let's see. Yeah, so between the both programs, we spent about $2,800 with local chefs. So that was divided between Anna, Andy, Allison, and Katerina. It was a great program. People that do it have really enjoyed it. Our local chefs are limited on the capacity of how much they can make throughout the year. So we're going to kind of keep it a small group of people each year. So if anybody is ever interested in signing up for that, our next one will be this fall 2021. We'll be doing that again as we wrap up the CSA season. And then there were our farm to table dinners. We hosted 2 of those in 2020. We got rained on at both of them, but they were very fun events, and both of them sold out, which was incredible considering a COVID year. But I think people were chomping at the bit to get outdoors. So the first one was at Pat Hall's family farm in Orleans, and then we did one in downtown Orleans where we strung lights up on the, what side would that be? The back side of the park. And set up tables in the street. And they were both wonderful evenings. We have a picture at the co-op hanging up of the Orleans, downtown Orleans one that Elena Judah did the night of the event. But we were able to accommodate 100 attendees, and we had no COVID incidents, which was a huge success. And along with Artisan Chefs Box, farm to table dinners, and purchasing for our store shelves, Lost River spent a total of $4,100 on local artisan chefs in 2019. So we felt, I mean, that was a huge success for us to start providing these streams of income for our local producers and what they're doing, and getting them to people that really value the quality of their products. So the community kitchen, you guys have heard a little bit about that. That's located over at the First Presbyterian Church, just across the street from the store. The money that allowed us to start this was in a grant from the Orange County Community Foundation. So Imogene played a huge role in this and helping us make this happen. It's a great asset for the community because entrepreneurs can go in here and do product development, even make products to sell in a food safe environment. So everything will be up to par with the food safety here in Orange County. We received new appliances such as a stove, freezer, and refrigerator, and it allowed it to become a certified kitchen. And anybody that makes a product in this kitchen is guaranteed shelf space at the store. So anything from dried fruit to canning preserves to making Jello, whatever you want, you could do it here, and we could sell it up at the store. And if you know anyone or you yourself want to spend some time in here, contact Anna. She is moderating the schedule for that space. And I believe, Debbie might have to correct me if I'm wrong, but as of right now, the space is, this usage of the space is being subsidized. So we've been able to allow people to use that free of charge to them. And the store has been able to help some of those. So as we get this up and running, there may be a fee in the future, but right now we've been able to allow people to make products in there and use it for free. So we did a lot in 2020 and we learned a lot. And as we were going through these programs and the different things that were happening, we focused on three things that were critical to our success and that we need to address moving forward. The first one is partnerships, which I touched on a little bit earlier, bringing the right people together to play up each other's strengths. So for instance, with our food education programs, nutrition prescription, Lost River Market isn't necessarily in the business of creating education curriculum. So going into 2021, we're looking at developing our partnership with Purdue Extension, bringing their education programs in with our food box, our ability to create food boxes to create a much better experience for our customers and participants. The second is food security, healthy food choices being more accessible in Orange County. We found there are three barriers that inhibit families in this area from accessing healthy food options: their affordability, education, and convenience. So we're working to, especially with our education programs, we kind of knock out all three of them together. If we can subsidize those programs to make them free for participants, there's very little barrier of entry other than potentially time. But even that, we're working to record things so that people can go back and watch videos later and just continue to educate themselves on making healthy food choices and making smart shopping decisions. So that's a part of it too, how you manage your weekly food budget. And then getting buy-in for the programs. It was something we struggled with at different points throughout the summer. Obviously not so much with our paid programs, but free programs, getting people to stick with it throughout the summer, to come pick up boxes every week, things like that. So we're still working on strategies on how to make these programs incredibly accessible, very few barriers of entry, but the consumer feels like they are committed to that program and not just, picking up whenever they want, but, truly taking advantage of the education and the food that's being provided. Okay, 2021 projections. Hold on a second. Oh, nope, sorry. Okay, so 2021 projections. We have in-store sales. We are projecting to increase about 10%. That's been a trend year to year so far. So we're, between our different programs, things like that, some of the new things that we're launching, we're hoping to see that increase in overall sales. Our CSA revenue, we've set a high goal this year. We're hoping to increase our CSA revenue to increase by 35% in 2021. This would mean an additional 14 CSA signups. We still have about a month left to get CSA signups, and we are at 21 currently, and we're shooting for 50. So we have some work ahead of us, but the growth we saw from 2019 to 2020 was really encouraging. We're hoping to build on that this year. We're looking at $4,000 in additional revenue from weekly farm stands that we're going to start in French Lick and Paoli. French Lick will be a Thursday night farm stand from 3 to 6 p.m. and Paoli will be a Friday night farm stand from 3 to 6 on the square, is what we're looking at. We're still hashing out the details on those, but that's what we're planning right now. And those the French Lick one will actually tie in with a CSA pickup location for French Lick, And if we get any Jasper signups for CSA. We're expecting about $2,000 in revenue that has been subsidized either through grants or members for the community nutrition education programs. A big portion of that was actually a part of our holiday gift program. So in the past, for the holiday gift program, we have given money, or we put together food bags for like the Mercy Center, or what's that? Their church in French Lick. I can't remember the name now off the top of my head. But anyway, this year we decided to use that money to fund these meal kit education programs, what we're calling our community nutrition education, and potentially nutrition prescription education through the health clinic, which we're going to be discussing here in the next day or two. And then overall, Lost River Market is projecting to spend approximately $24,000 with local farmers, and we're looking to sell roughly $93,000 in total and sell roughly $93,000 in total produce sales. So that's local and produce we sell through Indie Fruit. So we're hoping to continue growing our local produce sales there, or purchasing. So what's next? We're obviously going to continue a lot of the things that we're having success with. Our Lost River Market C.S.A. As I said, we're going to increase our reach and membership. New this year, we are doing pickup locations in French Lick, along with our Bedford and Mitchell locations that we had last year, to create better accessibility throughout the county and just the general area. We also added this year to the CSA a local egg add-on and a local bread add-on. So Andrew Gerber will be doing a different loaf or kind of bread every week for the 20 weeks that you can pick up with your box, or you can have local eggs, either a dozen or 2 dozen, available for pickup with each of your boxes. So those are 2 new additions to the program. Our Artisan Chefs Box, we don't see ourselves as far as capacity expanding that, but we want to continue to improve that program and really move towards just building cohesive themed meals. So something that we did a little bit better in the second version of that than the first was creating themes around each of our weekly meals. Maybe like an Indian theme one week, we had an African theme one week. So creating a little bit more cohesiveness around those meals and coordination between the different chefs. And we'll continue that program both in the fall and winter. We'll have 2 flights of that every year. And then farm to table dinners. As of right now, we have one planned for June at Pat's. We don't have a date set for that. And then in the autumn, we're looking at another dinner in Orleans. Orleans really enjoyed having us there for that, and so that may end up being an annual thing. Something new we're doing this year that we did not do in 2020 is these farm to kitchen meal kits, and this is essentially a convenient healthy food program. It's a version of HelloFresh that incorporates a lot of local. So we'll always prioritize local ingredients when they're available. But this will be a year-round program, so it's not going to be solely locally sourced goods. And the idea is to take the guesswork out of dinner. You can buy these up to 4 weeks in advance. So each week we will have a vegetarian option and a meat option, and then those can be picked up on Tuesdays from 2 to 7 p.m. So then you'll have them throughout the rest of the work week. And there's no pre-commitment. The only pre-ordering that needs to happen, if you want to guarantee you get a box, you have to order it by the Friday before the Tuesday pickup. So there's not a whole lot of pre-commitment to it. You don't have to sign up for so many weeks or anything like that. You can purchase week to week if you choose. We will have some on the shelf boxes with that. But that will simply be first come, first serve. We can't make any guarantees or hold for anyone. And we will officially launch that program on May 4th. This next week, we are actually starting a trial run on that. So you can get on our website right now and purchase some of those meals at a discounted rate. All we're asking of anyone that participates in these first 4 weeks is that you allow us to pick your brain for detailed feedback of the program. So we want to try to work out any kinks that we can before that May 4th launch date. We're going to continue our cooking and nutrition education programs, which some of those are still in development for 2021, especially with the clinic. But we did launch our first flight of that on January 22nd, and that went very smoothly. We had about 5 participants that were really well engaged in that. We are launching another nutrition for families. So this will be our first partnership with Purdue Extension on a 6-week course on April 1st that JJ Goldsberry is going to be teaching. So she's going to teach the program. Participants can then come into the store on Fridays to pick up a food box that correlates with the Thursday lesson. This is an introductory course to encourage meal preparation at home using raw ingredients. And that one actually does not. So the one that starts April 1st does not use Cooking Matters curriculum, but all of our previous ones and potentially some into the future will use the Cooking Matters curriculum, which if anybody wanted to learn more about that, you can let me know and I can send you information. Evening farm stands, we'll be incorporating that with our CSA this year. So we'll be setting up in French Lick. We're not sure on the location yet. We're still figuring that out. Like I said, from Thursday 3 to 6 and Paoli's 3 to 6 on Fridays. And that's just to create more accessibility to local food. Like I said, we're going to tie in the French Lick one to our CSA pickup over there. And we'll also be, so with those farm stands, it won't be produce only. We will probably take like honey, maple syrup, other locally produced goods as well. So the last thing that's kind of new for this year is our member engagement campaign. We'll be launching this next week. And our objective with this is to start re-engaging members that we haven't heard from for a while. So if they haven't shopped at the store in over a year, then they made the list. And we're going to be doing a campaign to try to bring them back in. So this is rather than trying to market to new customers, which we want new customers, don't get me wrong, but we're going to try to re-engage people that have already made some kind of commitment to the store and just get them back in. So that's going to be a call campaign so Ted Larison, one of our previous board members, he is going to be calling everybody, 20 people on a list, and inviting them back into the store. When they come in, they receive this member packet that we've put together. Includes a Lost River Market shopping bag, a fridge magnet with all of our members' sales on it, and then some different offers and information about our different programs. And then we have 2 comeback offers. So when they come in the first time, we give them a comeback offer for to come back and shop within the next 2 weeks. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, it's a $5 cash card that they can't spend it on that visit, but they can spend it on their next visit. And then once they spend that, they get a second comeback offered. So the idea is we're trying to get them into the store 3 times within about a 4-week period that starts to acclimate them to the environment, feeling comfortable in the store, getting to know our people on the front end, things like that. So we will see how that goes. Jacob and Bob and myself have been working on this. And so we're hoping for good luck. And we'll probably run this a couple times with different groups of people and trial some different ways in which we select the members and, track our success rate with that. Okay, so to wrap up, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how you could get involved if you'd like with the market. Obviously, we love shoppers, so you can always shop with us. But you can also volunteer if you feel called to do that. We have several volunteers at our store already. I think they mentioned yesterday from anywhere from 1 to 32 hours. That's anything from just helping stock shelves to bagging up bulk items, things like that. And so the main person you'd want to talk to for that is Jeanette. And you can just call the store and let her know that you'd like to volunteer, when, and she'd be happy to talk to anyone about how we could coordinate that. Also joining any of our programs, the Lost River CSA, that can be accessed on our website, both the information about the program, and you can actually pay for and sign up for it on there. Farm to Kitchen meal kits will live on our website. You can also ask about any of these things at the register as well, if you'd rather do that in person. But then our nutrition education for families, we'll be stopping signups for that. The one that starts Thursday will end signups tomorrow for that. So sign up soon if you're going to do it. But the sign up is under our events link on our website as well. And I believe that's it. I'm sure there's things I left out, so ask questions, but that is the gist of what we've been up to.
Thank you, Brandon. Like the gist was pretty, and there's so much going on. I really appreciate all of the detail that you shared with us today. For people who, maybe someone was a part of one program and, didn't know anything about the other, it's nice to be able to share all of that together. Just so you know, in the chat to everybody, the Lost River Market Deli.com/Lost River CSA is put in there if you want to sign up and register for the CSA this year. The egg add-on and the bread add-on are like, to me, it's just no brainer. The bread is the best bread that you can get around here. So, and of course the produce. But I want to take this time to open up to everybody. If you want to unmute yourself, ask any questions that you have, or make any comments, you're welcome to do that. Yeah.
This is Brad Pickens, for those that can't see for whatever reason. And for those that don't know, I'm living up in the Upper Peninsula right now. And I just want to say something in context of all this. First of all, I'm so impressed about everything that's going on there. And to give some context for that, when I talk to people up here in Marquette, there's a food co-op up here that probably does 5 to 6 times the volume that we do in Paoli. There's a good farmers market, and then there's a local store, just a local food store. None of them have the kind of integration that we have at Lost River, where we're dealing with producers, we're in the schools, we're with businesses, we're doing economic development. Like when I tell them what we're doing, and I do it very arrogantly because I'm so proud of what's happening there. They are just staggered by what's happening. And they can, the level of local doesn't exist the way it does there. There's something that is really, really, really special that's happening in and around Lost River Market. And it becomes even more glaringly, like I knew that when I was, when I left in August, but it becomes more glaringly obvious with each moment that I'm someplace else. So I just want to say that as a real kind of congratulations. And it's not like they haven't thought about some of these things. It's that they can't do it. And you guys are doing it. It's what we're doing. And I'm so happy to see it just continue. And anyway, that's it. I just want to give applause and congratulations and thanks and gratitude to everybody who's been part of this over the years and seen it through and just done all this stuff. And if you come visit, and all of you are welcome to, the only requirement is that you have to mule stuff up from Southern Indiana. So meat and beer, non-perishables, like whatever it is, like we've got a closet for that stuff. But anyways, it's good to see you guys, and thanks for the update and report, and it's awesome.
Thanks, Brad. I mean, you were a pivotal part of getting these programs, visioned and off the, I'm not trying to give you any accolades or anything, but you were definitely here for, through a lot of it. So I'm glad that you get to see it and be able to share our success in, other parts of the country. So. Anybody else want to have any questions about CSAs or programs that we did, or how to go forward with them?
Question for Brandon. This is Sam Matheny. I'm just interested to know how that you see the future of the new programs at Lost River, either coordinating or maybe competing with the Orleans Farmers Market, and how those would go together.
Well, I mean, as far as from a competition point of view, we're certainly staying away from any kind of produce sales outside of just general in-store stuff on Saturdays, because we don't want to be competition for them. We love the Orleans Farmers Market. We do think there's opportunity to provide access to produce, on other nights of the week, especially in Paoli and French Lick, where people might not be able to get to the Orleans market on Saturday. We also, just having a presence in Orleans, I'm hoping that at some point, like, we as a store can begin to have a presence up there. We've done tastings and stuff in the past. We haven't talked about doing that again this year. Obviously, we didn't last year because of COVID and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the gist of it. As we're developing these things, we're looking more at where are the holes rather than, how do we run out the next guy? So, we don't see ourselves as a competitor to the market there.
Brandon, can I add something?
Mhm.
In our video, Bob says it best, and we have said it for years. We hope that we operate from a sense of abundance, and that the more that you support these growers, the more they will grow, and the more they will sell, and the more avenues that they use to sell. So right now, the only thing we see the Amish cutting back on because of our business is that several of them have said they didn't have to go to street corners on different days and one more buggy ride to sell their produce. But we have timed our pickup run to maximize their cutting schedule for the market. So it's all about just growing more, selling more. And as an aside, the farmers market is actually adding a Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening second market in Orleans. So they're not feeling any pinch. They're just feeling the ramifications of the COVID year and trying to put some of the pieces back together.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to just add on that part of operating under abundance. I think that there are more gaps here than there are places where they overlap, and so there's plenty of people who are not shopping at the Lost River Market or at the farmers market, and those are people that we both would potentially want to bring into the fold of local food. And I think that in terms of our artisans and producers, just speaking, I've had conversations with Andy Gerber about, he sells at the farmers market, and he sells at the Lost River Market both on Saturdays with his bagels. And there are people who travel just to the Orleans Market for his bagels, and they know that they're there. And then there's people who travel to Lost River Market just for his bagels. So to me, there's room for both. There's room for growth in kind of all of it at this point.
Sorry, can I chime in again? Just because I think that's a really important thing.
Mhm.
That if the area is known for that kind of abundance and that kind of just availability of good food, that it benefits everybody. So you're not really talking about competition in the sense that you would traditionally in like some kind of like hard capitalist whatever. You're talking about something that the more there is available, the more every boat rises. And again, that's what's happening there, and it's so awesome to watch.
This is Bob, if I can speak for a moment. There is to be no farmers market in the valley this year. So what we'll be providing there is actually a replacement of something that did exist and now does not. So we're actually fulfilling our mission in a place that needs it.
And not to beat a dead horse, but some people have asked about if we create a farm stand in Paoli, won't that hurt the sales from inside the store? And I don't think so. It's again, the more opportunities you present, the more produce you will sell to maybe different people who would come from to one place or another. So we don't think that it's that it will take away. It will just all add.
Yeah, this is Pat. I don't know if am I on?
Yep.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Speaking to that, the Amish farmers and the English farmers that I talk with all the time, they need more places to sell their produce. They just can't grow for a Saturday market or a Tuesday night market, or just they have such an abundance of produce that they need another outlet. They've talked about taking it down to Davis County, truckloads down there, which we don't want that to happen. We want it to stay here. We want to meet and get all the people we can here. And, because when you look at the Amish, the ones that go to the farmers market are on the west side of town. The east side of town, Amish don't go to the farmers market, and they have an abundance of produce that they need to get rid of. So, we're not trying to compete. We're just trying to get all of our suppliers a place to go with what they have.
And to add into that, this really feeds into this concept of people who are doing the value added products or artisans, and as far as I'm not I haven't lived in this community for very long, but I do know that this used to be a hub of like tomato processing, right? I'm sure there was other processing going on here too. So that's something that, that's an industry that no longer really exists here on a big scale, and really could. And that's happening all over Indiana, where production is happening on a slightly larger scale, and it's being distributed on a larger scale even from there. So really, we have a lot of opportunity, and we are just tapping into it, I believe.
Mhm.
Pat, do you want to make any comments about how the trainings went with the farmers, and what else we're looking at in 2021 in terms of how to develop either their training or food safety in general, or how to keep them growing more of what we want and what we need?
With the training that Abby and I put together with the extension office there, we went to the regular food processing class, and we took the book. We ended up making a manual that was easier for us to present to our individual farmers one-on-one. And so we have gone out to approximately 5 or 6 so far. We have we'll hit them all as we go, but we wanted to get the main ones first. And so we went to them. It went really well. We went through the book with them. We talked about all the training steps. We offered to do some water testing for them. Most everyone, I'd say everyone, was eager to do these things. A lot of them have already done them that have raised tobacco, because they had to go through this process to do that. So the ones that have done that knew what we were doing and asking of them. And it's been accepted very well. We still have a lot to go. We still have, everybody, but we just want to get the main ones first, get them ready. And then as the season goes on, when I start buying from different ones, I will give them the book, go through it, and discuss all the things they need to do to help make our produce as safe as possible.
Thanks, Pat. Okay. Well, unless there's anything else, it's 6:53, so we're coming close to our time today. So grateful to have you all on and to continue this annual meeting in this virtual fashion. This has been really very, very successful in my eyes. And the recordings will all be sent out in the next day or so. There'll be YouTube videos and you can access them wherever you need to. So again, thank you and hope you have a good night.